Alright, and the title of our news right here states XRPL Validator to XRP holders. This is the time your thesis gets tested. Our source for this news is from Times Tabloid. Alright, imagine standing inside a brand new ultra modern airport. The runways are perfectly paved. The digital gates are fully operational. The control towers have the most advanced radar technology on Earth, and the security systems are bulletproof. It is a masterpiece of engineering. But as you look around, you realize something is strange. There are barely any planes taking off, and the terminal is mostly empty. This is exactly where the XRP Ledger stands right now. The technology has never been stronger. The network has never been more resilient. The financial infrastructure being built behind the scenes is absolutely elite. Yet, if you look at the daily market sentiment, it feels like everyone is panicking or falling asleep. A well-known XRP validator named VET recently took to X to drop a massive reality check that has ignited a huge debate across the entire crypto community. He issued a direct warning to every single XRP holder, stating that this exact moment is when your investment thesis gets tested. Alright, before we continue, let's check XRP's price right now. Right, the current market price of XRP is at 1.2040, and looking through our daily chart time frame right here, it seems that XRP has no plan of stopping from going downward. Right, based on my analysis, the bearish momentum still shows a very strong selling pressure. So despite our major support right here at 1.2234, it seems that it isn't enough to stop the selling pressure from causing XRP's price to go lower. Our next stop or possible stop or support is now at 1.0169, exactly at $1. All right, now let's go back to the news, and let's answer the very first question about why there is a massive disconnect between XRP's price and its technology. And this viral post on X, VET used a powerful four-word phrase that perfectly captures the current state of the market, and that's sentiment down, fundamentals up. He argued that the negative attitudes, the complaints on social media, and the general boredom among retail investors do not reflect the massive progress taking place behind the scenes. The network's expanding functionality and resilience are quietly moving forward every single day, completely ignored by the mainstream crowd. So, I completely agree with the VET's perspective right here. In crypto, retail investors are notoriously emotional. They only care about the fundamentals when the green candles are flying. When the price is sideways or consolidation drags on, they assume the project is dead. So my personal take is that this disconnect is actually a hidden gift from strategic accumulators. While the crowd is crying about short-term price action, the developers are building a financial machine designed to compete directly with traditional banking systems. If you can't handle the boring accumulation phases, you won't be around to enjoy the explosive utility phases. Alright, now, how is the XRP Ledger quietly upgrading its financial infrastructure? A key part of the argument shared by the analysts on X centers on the evolving capabilities of the XRP Ledger. The ecosystem is actively building the groundwork to host a massive wave of decentralized finance, turning the network into a playground for institutional capital. These aren't just minor software patches. They are structural upgrades designed to handle massive cross-border liquidity and real-world asset tokenization later this year. Now, this shift toward institutional DeFi is the real anchor of my XRP investment thesis. People forget that XRP wasn't built to be a meme coin or a speculative trading toy for retail. It was built to move trillions of dollars across borders smoothly. When a validator, someone who actually runs the infrastructure and sees the network data firsthand, tells you the fundamentals are rising, you have to look past the social media noise. So to me, the expanding utility on the ledger acts like a coiled spring. The underlying value is stacking up heavily, and it's only a matter of time before the market is forced to recognize it. Now, why is the crypto community strongly divided over XRP's adoption speed? Right? Naturally, Vet's post didn't sit well with everyone, triggering a first debate in the comments. A user named Bear Grylls, right? Let's just highlight this part. A user named Bear Grylls, Bear Grylls' brother, quickly fired back, pointing out that XRP has been building for a very long time, yet it still hasn't achieved the massive global utilization that supporters have been promising for years. Another commenter named Zydra, right? Let's highlight Zydra, right here. Zydra. Another commenter named Zyra raised an even tougher question, asking what happens if these amazing technical upgrades simply fail to generate real market results. Can investors rely on the exact same utility thesis forever if the world takes too long to adopt it? In my personal opinion, I completely understand the frustrations of the critics. It's a totally valid point. As an investor, you can't just blind yourself with hopium and ignore the clock. We've been waiting for the floodgates to open for a long time. However, my view is that replacing a global financial system that has been running on ancient Swift technology for decades takes time. You don't just plug a multi-trillion-dollar banking rail into a blockchain overnight. The critics want instant gratification, but real institutional adoption moves at a corporate, highly regulated pace. Now, what does a true conviction test mean for the average investors? On the brighter side of the debate, users like Lorena, right? Lorena came to Vet's defense, stating that many people are completely blind to the sheer scale of XRP's structural progress. They believe that long-term diamond hunts will ultimately be rewarded once these upgrades fully integrate with global liquidity pools. This brings us back to Vet's main point, which is this period of low market confidence is a psychological test designed to shake out the weak hunts before the next major cycle begins. This is where the rubber meets the road. Anyone can hold a coin with its going up 20% a week. That doesn't take conviction. It just takes a basic appetite for profit. True conviction is holding an asset when the sentiment is completely buried in the mud. But you know, the underlying data tells a completely different story. If your only reason for owning XRP was a viral video predicting a random pump, you will likely fail this test and sell at a loss. But if you truly understand the infrastructure being built, this phase is just a part of the process. All right? When we weigh the expanding capabilities of the ledger against the valid concerns of the community, we get a very clear picture of the current state of crypto. The divided The divide between the optimistic builders and the skeptical retail traders has never been wider, but that is exactly how major market cycles operate. To wrap it up all, the ultimate conclusion we can draw from Vet's analysis right here is that the core XRP thesis has not changed. It is simply being forced to face reality. The technology is undeniably scaling up, institutional DeFi tools are actively rolling out, and validators are confirming that the network is stronger than ever. The only missing piece of the puzzle is time and broad adoption. Whether you view this phase as a frustrating delay or a prime accumulation window depends entirely on your investment horizon. At the end of the day, the markets are designed to transfer wealth from the impatient to the patient. So pay attention to the upgrades, monitor the real-world utility, and don't let a temporary dip in the market sentiment shake you out of a long-term plan. Alright, and this finally ends our video. Thank you very much for watching and see you on the next one. Or you might as well just check this recommended or suggested video right here.